Hello, everybody. I just came back from a work retreat with one of my girlfriends, Dina Lu, and it has been amazing. If you haven't checked out the previous episode where we actually did a coaching session with Dina in the coastal home where we were pet sitting and doing our business retreat at, it's amazing. And definitely check that out on YouTube as well because the vibes and everything is just awesome. And I came back from this trip and I started really thinking about what is it about that trip that made it so special. And I started feeling into like the vibe of it, the mood of it, the energy of it. What is it about it that makes it so good? And I want to also really incorporate this kind of emotion and this kind of energy into my personal life as well, into my life every day as how I am living it. And the right word I can really describe what this feeling is like is this feeling of feeling lush. Okay? It's like this energy. There's this energy in the air that's just all about creating something that just makes the energy feel so lush. And it's this idea of like everything in your lifestyle and with how you're designing it deliberately, it's spacious, it is delicious, it is expensive, it is abundant. It's like big vibes, energy, and this environment is just so feels so elevating and feels so joyful and abundant and rich. And I want to offer that you can achieve this life, this kind of life, and it doesn't necessarily have to be it doesn't necessarily have to feel like a luxury. I mean, it can be a luxury if you let it. Like it can feel like a luxury, but it doesn't necessarily have to mean that you're spending a lot of money. I think that's what I'm trying to get at. Because when I think about that 1 week business retreat that I went on, it was definitely like we didn't spend that much money at all. Like it was affordable. It was a total affordable trip. And yet, everything about it just feels so spacious, delicious. The energy was great. Like it was just a whole lush experience. And so this really got me into thinking, right? Like, what does it actually mean to live a lush life where you are feeling alive, where you are thriving and you are enjoying your lifestyle? And when I really thinking about how it relates to my business and how I show up in my business, I think it's all about letting yourself enjoy life and have fun in what you do as you are making money. And it's not necessarily about like yes, it is about making money, but what's even more important is about how you make the money. Like I think coming alive and truly thriving in your life is about making money. And yes, that's awesome. But what's very interesting about it, it's about the process of how you make money. Like, are you making money while having fun? Is it the ethical, value aligned way of how you want to make money? Because there are a lot of people out there making tons of money, but they're not really thriving and they're not internally feeling like their values are aligned when they are making the money. And as a result, the money making process, it just feels kind of icky and you just feel kind of like you're not truly being yourself. You feel like you are, like manipulating people into wanting to buy your things. And that's just not a whole vibe, right? Like that's just not a very healthy way to look at business and look at making money. And so I think about living a lush life and letting yourself come alive. It is all about how I make the money. And it is all about my life outside of my work. Like, am I truly feeling connected to my community? Am I truly feeling connected to my family? Am I feeling connected to my friendships? Am I connected to the relationships that I have in my life online, in my online community? And also in my offline community, how do I truly feel about that? Do I feel connected to them? Do I really feel like I'm truly there and present in these people's lives, the people who I love and who I care about? These are all things that I really value individually, and also like in general. How do I feel about my living condition right now? How do I feel about my living space, my home, my office, um, my environment around me? These things are also important, right? And it is about creating and improving the quality of your life, because the quality of your life in many ways it really defines if you are thriving or not. And I am all about really helping you step out of survival mode, as in like you are functioning on fight or flight, into embracing a lush lifestyle where you are thriving and you are truly coming alive. So I want to help you step out of living on survival mode. And a lot of people, like, you might think that survival mode, it might look like, you can't function, you're functioning on fight or flight. And yes, that can be the case. But also, I've also seen a lot of people who are depressed, who are not feeling fulfilled, and yet they're still living a seemingly successful life on the outside. Because when you're living in survival mode, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're not successful and that you're not having amazing wins and results in your life. Like, you can be living in survival mode, functioning on fight or flight, trying to meet deadlines, hustling and pushing yourself, and like your health, your mental and physical health can be suffering, and your life can still seem like you're successful. Like you can be, I see so many people who um go to, like music festivals, and they have a very eventful life. They seem like they have an amazing social life. They're always hanging out with friends. They are getting promotions in their jobs. They're always traveling. And yet internally, they're not truly allowing themselves to feel the success and truly enjoying and loving their life and feeling joyful in what they do. And there's a huge difference with that, right? When you are living in survival mode, it affects the quality of your life. It affects your ability to connect deeper with your relationships. It affects um how you feel on a daily, regular basis. There are a lot of successful people where they are amazing at what you do in their work and in their career, or on the outside, it looks like they have their life all figured out and they're on like the trajectory to their successful life. And yet they're actually not truly feeling fulfilled. They are stressing out. They are always worried that the next shoe is going to drop. They can have amazing wins in their business, but then they're suffering in their marriage, or they're having a lot of imposter syndrome, or like their personal life is just not the best, right? And so we really want to be aware every time when we look at people share their highlight reels on Instagram, on social media, that's a lot of times that's not the full picture, because you can brand your life in a very specific way where it looks like you're having a lot of fun. And yet what's very interesting is if personally in your personal life you're not truly feeling fulfilled and you're not joyful and you're not coming alive, then actually people can still feel that in your content and in how you're showing up. Like there's just something about it, right? There's like a certain energy of you not being aligned in who you really are and how you really feel in your day-to-day life. And so I'm all about integrity, helping you thrive online and offline. So the first thing that we can really help you do to step out of living on survival mode is to practice, like start noticing what your normal is so that you can change it. Notice where you are right now in your life and you want to work on changing your normal. What I mean by this is there must be a certain pattern or certain behavior of what worked for you that got you to a certain point at where you are right now in your life. Perhaps before maybe you came from a corporate place where it was all about push, 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 like work harder, work harder, work harder, hustle, 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 push yourself to meet deadlines, telling yourself you should do certain things and you have to do them, trying to follow a strategy, even though internally it doesn't really work for you. And so now in business, you still feel very similarly, even though technically you're the person that is your own boss. Like you are your own boss, you get to design your life and your schedule in a very intentional way, but you still have this mentality within you of like, oh, you need to push, push, push. You need to work hard. You need to meet deadlines. It has to be hustle, hustle, hustle. And it has to be like those like toxic hustling, right? And that's just not always the case. And so really notice where you are right now and actively work on changing that normal. And it's also about like, and what do I mean when I say change your normal? It's about helping your nervous system to be able to enter a new state of normal for you. Because perhaps in the past, you've been very, very used to living in survival mode, where you're always looking out for danger, you're worried a lot, you are stressing a lot. Even though like that might not be the best feeling, but it is a feeling that you're very, very used to. And it's a feeling that has been it's being like the normal for you that kind of just runs in your everyday, right? I had a conversation with a friend recently who switched from a very toxic, stressful job into a super chill job. Like she was working in like a very stressful environment where there's so many deadlines, where every day is just like her putting out the fire. And then because it's become so toxic and so like stressful that she finally took that leap, make that jump, and change her job. And 3 weeks in, she called me saying that she had a panic attack at her current job. But in this current and the result of it is because she's not doing anything. Like can you believe it? It's because it's so chill. There's nothing for her to do that she's stressing out so much and having anxiety and panic attack because it's so chill. And this is the thing, because her body, for a, a period of time, her body has been so used to putting out the fire. Her body, her nervous system has been so used to functioning on firefly, always being on alert. And even though it's like it doesn't necessarily feel quote unquote safe, but it's what her body has gotten used to. And all of a sudden, now she enters a new kind of job where it's very relaxing. There's barely anything that needs to be done. And she's like having panic attack because of it. Because her body is like, something is wrong. You're not functioning at this level. Something is wrong. Something is not right. And so she started going into this place where there's like so much critical self-talk where she's telling herself that, wow, you're going back. You're like moving backward. You're not challenging yourself enough. This job is so, it's like you're not learning anything from it. Maybe you shouldn't have quit your previous job. You're going backwards. This is not where you think you should be right now. There's a problem here, right? Because she's not feeling safe. So do you see this is a perfect example of you can change your environment, but if internally in the body, in your nervous system, that pattern is still there, it can actually feel very, very, very unsafe for you if you decide not to do anything. And so I really told her this, and the work then really is all about helping her nervous system feel safe and reminding herself that it is okay for her to be here right now, for her to feel this presence, for her to feel this spacious and this relaxed in her life. Like it is safe now for me to feel safe. And it is safe now for me to not need to do anything, and that is okay. I don't have to be always be on all the time, and that is okay. I don't have to always put in 130% into anything, and that is okay. Right? It's really reminding her that it is safe to feel this way. And this is all about changing the state of your normal into a normal. So if you being functioning and living in survival mode for a while, where you are making decisions from fear, where you are taking actions from desperation, you are feeling scarce with your money or feeling scarce with your time. And instead of trying to make decisions from this place, actually, let's look at your body, right? Let's make your body feel safe. And then from this place, it will be so much easier for you to take actions in a more grounded and relaxed way. There is a common misconception out there that when you don't push yourself, when you tell yourself that you are enough and that you don't need to do anything and that it is safe to just be here and appreciate what you have, then you won't do anything. Like there's a common misconception out there that when you tell yourself that you can appreciate and feel grateful with what you have, then you'll be lazy. And I think this is what our brain does a lot to kind of like trick ourselves into taking actions and into hustling and into push and grind, is that you'll be lazy if you truly tell yourself that it is okay to be here. And I just want to offer that this is internal capitalism, like toxic capitalist tendency that exists within you. That's all that it is. This is something that we've learned growing up with looking at adults around us, how they behave, the words that we see, that we hear from people around us, what we see in capitalist conditioning, that if you don't do anything, it means you're lazy, it means you're not good enough if you don't do anything. And I want to offer that toxic capitalism tells you that you need to always be doing something. You need to do. You need to be productive, always do more in order to feel like you have value, that you have to achieve things. You have to more. You can always be, you need to always be doing, you should always be doing in order for you to feel like you're good enough, basically. Like if you get to a very root of it, you have to keep doing those things in order for you to be good enough. And I want to really help you break this cycle and practice this new belief to ingrain in yourself. You're already enough simply by being. You are already enough simply by being and existing in this world. The fact that you are a living human being, breathing, you're already enough, and that you hold value, and that you hold presence, and that you are worthy simply by being here and existing and being alive on planet Earth. And toxic capitalism wants us to think differently, right? Because let's really look at this myth, okay? What would you feel if you are truly feeling enough? Like, I really want you to think about it. When you are really enough and you truly know that you are valuable and that you are amazing, you have value simply by existing, how do you feel? Actually, when you feel this way, you just feel at peace, right? You feel at peace, you feel more relaxed, you feel like you know that you're already enough. And what would you naturally, like, what would naturally come out of you when you just let yourself fully relax? What's going to happen is that when you let yourself truly be here long enough, naturally, you will just want to do things that make you feel fun. You'll want to do things because you just want to, right? When you are feeling sufficient and when you're feeling enough with what you have and appreciating your life, naturally, you will want to create content because it just feels good for you to do so. Because you know that you're an artist, you want to express yourself, you want your voice to be heard. Naturally, you will just want to do that. Naturally, you will want to create content when your body is feeling safe enough. Like when you don't need to do anything, you will actually do something naturally. Like it's kind of impossible for you to just be there and sleep all day or lounge on the sofa all day. And actually, when you lounge on the sofa all day, that's actually a way of like you it can actually be a trauma response and it can actually be a coping mechanism from burning out. Instead of taking actions because you feel so enough. You're like, oh, I just want to do this because it feels fun. I just want to do this because I love my life, because I enjoy my life. I love the task that I'm doing. So, of course, I'm going to create content. Of course, I'm going to show up online today. Of course, I'm going to reach out to a friend and ask if we want to hang out because I just want to connect with them. I just want to spend time with them. Of course, I want to go exercise because I love my body. So, why not? Do you see? This is a whole new way of taking actions and a whole new way of approaching productivity. Naturally, you will just want to wake up earlier if you're already loving yourself, right? Like, if honestly, you can get to a point, like, let's say if you want to wake up earlier and you are able to get to a point where it actually doesn't matter if you wake up earlier or not, you just love yourself anyways, then naturally you will want to wake up earlier because you just want to. Do you see? You deciding that you are enough simply by existing in this world is the biggest declaration against the capitalism. Let me say that again. You deciding that you are enough simply by existing is the biggest declaration, is the biggest stance that you can do against the capitalism. That letting it's like declare it's like the declaration, letting toxic capitalism know that you are breaking the cycle and that it ends with you, right? Like this generational pattern, this ends with you. From you forward, you are modeling to your communities what is possible, that you can make money from aliveness. You can make money without manipulation. You can thrive while having fun. You can take on a lot of projects. You can do a lot of things because you know that you also don't need to do them. You're already enough simply by you being and existing on planet Earth. And when you can truly let yourself feel into the truth of it, actions will come from you so much more naturally. And when you can feel sufficient with what you have, and when you can truly appreciate and be okay with where you are, the actions that you decide to do will feel so much more aligned, right? Instead of worrying, instead of living on firefly, worrying that the next shoe is going to drop, you are loving your life. You are embracing and really owning all the successes that you've created for yourself and truly feeling enough with where you are right now. And then from this place, I can guarantee you, you will become actually so much more productive than when you are fighting with yourself and mentally and emotionally burning out and functioning on survival mode. Like that's just not the case. And also, it just kind of messes up your health and messes up your mental health. It is not a lush life, right? And it is not a life where you are truly coming alive, essentially. And so I hope that this episode has gave you some different perspective and really help you to ask some bigger questions instead of like when you're living in survival mode, all that you want to do is, in a way, like it feels like all that you want to do is make money. It feels all that you want to do is trying to make sure that your like the people around you are happy, right? You're always like it's hard for you. You're anxious, you're worried, you're stressing out all the time. And this energy just creates like stress, just creates more stress. Living in scarcity, it just creates more scarcity. And so, actually, if you want the fastest way, like the fastest, easiest way for you to make money, for you to bring success into your life, then ask yourself, how can you embrace, like change your new normal? Embrace the normal where you are feeling at peace first, where you are coming alive first, where you are choosing joy first. And then when you're in that, the external income does come, the opportunities do come, the like all the like the numbers will come to you so much more easily and effortlessly when you let yourself relax your nervous system and you function from appreciation and tap into abundance first instead of trying to live in fight or flight. Okay, I hope that this has been so helpful for you. I know that um I also like regularly on a daily basis, I also had to do this work on myself as well to like very, very intentionally tap into abundance, tap into feeling at peace, feeling at joy, and letting that be the energy that drives my actions. All right, have an amazing week, everybody, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.